What are the 4 very important raw materials for the plants to prepare food? Carbon dioxide, water, sunlight and chlorophyll. What is transpiration? Transpiration is nothing but expulsion of water in the form of water vapor. What is leaf lamina or leaf blade? It is a green flat expanded portion with a midrib, veins and veinlet. Hello dear students, welcome back to session 5 of this very interesting chapter called Morphology of Flowering Plants. Myself, B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. Hope you remember in the last session, we learned about the stem modifications. So, we have gone through the root system and the shoot system. And do you all remember I told you all, shoot system is more complicated when compared to the root system. Why shoot system is more complicated? It bears a very important structure of a plant called leaf. By seeing this beautiful picture of a leaf, you can make a guess that I am going to discuss about a very important concept about the leaf. In everyday life we come across leaf. Who has not seen a leaf? Leaf is a very important part of the shoot system. Why do we give so much of importance to leaf? Because leaf is nothing but what we call it as the photosynthetic apparatus. Photosynthetic apparatus of a plant body. It is a very important part of a plant body. Why do we say it is so very important? There is no manufacturing of food without leaf. So that is the reason we call it as the photosynthetic apparatus of a plant body. I think all of us know plants are autotrophs. Plants are autotrophs. What do you mean by plants are autotrophs? They synthesize their own food. They synthesize their own food. What about animals? Animals are heterotrophs. Heterotrophs. So organisms are of two types. One called autotrophs, the other one called heterotrophs. Plants are autotrophs, animals are heterotrophs. What do you mean by autotrophs? They synthesize their own food. They don't depend upon anybody for their food. How do they synthesize their own food? With the help of the leaves. So leaf is a very important part of a plant body. That is, they are the photosynthetic apparatus of a plant body. Now let us study about this leaf in detail. In everyday life we come across these leaves. We see the leaves in the plant body. But you know how important these are for the plants, and they are also very important for us. We depend upon the plants. As I said, heterotrophs are what? Heterotrophs are those which depend upon the plants or the animals for their food. The food what we are depending upon the plant is from the leaves. So leaves are the very important parts of a plant body. Now let us study about the leaves. So what are leaves? Leaves are the lateral appendages. So usually we come across the branches bearing the leaves, and generally flattened structures. Here you can see they are flattened structures. And even we come across different types of leaves. The leaves are differently shaped. Don't we come across structures borne on the stem and the branches? So what are leaves? Leaves are the lateral appendages, generally flattened structures borne on the stem and branches. They develop at the nodes. Here you can see these are called the node. Here you can see the node. So usually leaves arise from the nodes. So from where do we come across the leaves arising? The leaves usually arise from the nodes. And the distance between two nodes, you call it as what? Internodes. Usually leaves arise from the nodes, and the distance between two nodes is called as what? Internodes. So what is a leaf? Leaves are the lateral appendages, generally flattened structures borne on the stem and the branches. They develop at the nodes and each leaf bears a bud in its axil. So here you can see the stalk. The stalk of a leaf is called petiole, and you can see this is called the margin. Leaf margin. Leaf margin, and here you can see the tip, and this whole surface of the leaf is called leaf lamina, or it is otherwise called leaf blade. So this whole surface, and can you all see the structures here? This is called the main rib, midrib, and we call this as the main vein. It is called as a main vein. What is a vein? Vein is one which carries xylem and phloem. Xylem is a water conducting tissue and phloem is a food conducting tissue. Xylem is what are the two very important conducting tissue? What do you mean by conducting? Transporting. What are two very important things for a plant? Water and food. What is that? Which is the tissue which conducts or transports water from downwards to upwards? It is xylem. What is that which conducts food from upwards? Where actually the food is prepared? In the leaf. So phloem is the tissue which is found in the leaf which carries the food that is prepared from upwards to downwards. So here you can see the main, this is called veinlets. Usually the phloem is above and xylem is below. So usually we find the phloem will be above and the xylem will be below. So here we can see this is the node. What are the parts of a leaf? Node, and this is called the petiole. The stalk of a leaf is called petiole, and you can see the petiole extends all over the leaf lamina as what? As midrib, which is the main vein, and you can see the margin. Here you can see the margin is serrated. Sometimes it will be smooth. This is called the smooth margin. This is called smooth margin. Here the margin is serrated. It is broken like this. This is called serrated margin. And this whole, the whole leaf lamina, the inside of the leaf is called what? Leaf blade, or it is otherwise called leaf lamina, which has what? Very important, mesophyll. And mesophyll has what? Chlorophyll. What is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a green pigment. Why the leaves are green in color? It has a leaf. Leaves have a green pigment called chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is what? One of the raw material for what? For photosynthesis. So plants manufacture food or synthesize food through a very important process called what? Photosynthesis. The very word itself will tell you, in presence of light. Photo means what? Light. Synthesis means what? Preparation. What are the four very important raw materials for the plants to prepare food? Carbon dioxide, water, sunlight and chlorophyll. So leaf is a very, very important part of a plant body. Moving across the further, here you can see the main midrib. Here you can see the yellow structure, that is the midrib. This is the main vein. Here you can see the veinlets, and this is a picture of reticulate venation. So as we know, plants are of two types, dicot leaf and monocot leaf. How do we differentiate a dicot leaf from a monocot leaf? Dicot leaf will always have venation like this. This is called reticulate venation. This is called reticulate venation. What is venation? Arrangement of veins is called venation. What do you mean by reticulate? Network. Here can you see the arrangement of veins is in the form of network. Whereas in case of monocot leaf, we call it as parallel venation. Parallel venation. Suppose like if you come across grass, you can see the veins like this. This is called parallel venation. What is venation? Venation is nothing but arrangement of veins. What are veins? Veins carry xylem and phloem. What is xylem? Xylem is a water conducting tissue. What is phloem? Phloem is a food conducting tissue. How will they be arranged? Always the phloem will be above in a vein and the xylem will be below. So phloem is a food conducting tissue or a food transporting tissue, and xylem is a water transporting or water conducting tissue. So this is the picture of a reticulate venation, that is of a dicot leaf. So the leaves originate from shoot apical meristem and are arranged in an acropetal manner. What do you mean by acropetal manner? Older leaves are at the base and younger leaves are at the apex. For example, if this is the branch, so this is called as the older leaf and this is called as the younger leaf. This arrangement of leaves where we come across the older leaf is at the base and the younger leaf is above. So this arrangement is called acropetal order, or it is otherwise called acropetal succession. Acropetal succession. So here the leaves are in acropetal order. What do you mean by acropetal order? Older leaves are at the base. What do you mean by older? The first formed leaves are called older leaves. The later formed leaves are called the younger leaves. So here the older leaves will be at the base of the stem and the younger leaves will be above the leaves. And this arrangement of leaves is called as what? Acropetal succession. That is, the older leaves are at the base and younger leaves are at the apex. As we know, the leaves what? Perform what? Photosynthesis. Wow! They contain what? Chlorophyll. Why this is green in color? Because they contain chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is what? Photosynthesis. Helps in what? Photosynthesis. How? It absorbs solar energy. I think all of you have studied in your school days also. Photosynthesis, a very, very important concept to study from examination point of view also. You have a separate chapter in your first PUC called Photosynthesis, where you will understand how this mechanism is going on. Light reaction, dark reaction, what is the structure of a chlorophyll, chloroplast, all that, right? And we also come across coloring pigments like leucoplast, then xanthophyll, phycocyanin. So we come across plants are differently colored because of the presence of colored pigments. Colored pigments are also called as chromopigments. Colored. Chromo means what? Colored. And we have chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B. Chlorophyll A is called as the main photosynthetic pigment, which absorbs the solar energy and converts the solar energy into kinetic energy. That is what the prepared food of plant is what? Chemical energy. So the prepared starch is what? The prepared food of plant is called starch, and it is nothing but the solar energy is converted into chemical energy, and when we have food we get energy, and that is converted into kinetic energy. That is solar energy into chemical energy into kinetic energy through a very, very important process that is called photosynthesis. And leaf also performs other functions like transpiration. Very, very important. Hope all of you know we prefer to go and stand or sit below the tree. Why? We have that cooling effect. And that cooling effect is due to what? Transpiration. What is transpiration? Transpiration is nothing but expulsion of water in the form of water vapor. And that water vapor is going to keep the surface moist, and that is why we get this cooling effect. Transpiration is called as a necessary evil. Plants cannot avoid transpiration. Why? Because The stomata, as we know, the stomata are the very, very important apparatus where exactly the exchange of gases is going to take place. Thus, the stomata will always remain open during daytime and closed during night. Why? Because it has to open, because for the exchange of gases. As you know, plants take in what? Carbon dioxide and give out what? Oxygen. Give and take policy. That is the reason why we have to plant more trees. The more the trees you plant, the more the oxygen we get. So that is the reason, that is the concept of going we need to go for what? Planting of more trees around us, right? So respiration and storage of food and vegetative propagation. For example, in bryophyllum leaf, as you know, the leaf buds that is found on the leaf margin, they act as vegetative structures and also help in what? Vegetative propagation or vegetative reproduction, which is nothing but a type of asexual reproduction, right? So as I said, the leaves originate from the shoot apical meristem. As you know, meristematic cells are the growing cells which have the active rate of mitotic cell division, and they develop or originate from the shoot apical meristem and are arranged in an acropetal manner. What do you mean by acropetal manner? The older leaves are at the base and the younger leaves are at the bottom. So the leaves perform what? Photosynthesis. How? Through a pigment called chlorophyll. Leaf also performs other functions like what? Like transpiration, respiration, storage of food and vegetative propagation. And I think hope all of you remember, leaves are also becoming insectivorous. Particularly sometimes plants become insectivorous when they don't get sufficient nitrogen, so they start devouring the insect body and plants will become insectivorous, right? So usually you might have come across a plant called Nepenthes, where the tip of the leaf gets modified into a pitcher like structure and has a lid, and you know, when the insect mistakes it for some because of its beautiful color, as you know, it comes and sits and the lid is closed and the insect body is digested by the enzymes that are produced by the plant. See what a wonderful mechanism. Like we have even Drosera, then Venus flytrap, then Nepenthes, which is otherwise called pitcher plant. See how the leaf itself gets modified into as I said, other than carrying on the process of photosynthesis, sometimes even the leaves also get modified. Why do they get modified? They to perform some special functions. Let us study all that in this session. Let us study the parts of a leaf. So a typical leaf consists of three main parts. What are the three main parts? That is petiole, leaf base and leaf lamina. What is petiole? This is called as a petiole. Stalk of a leaf is called petiole. And such leaves which have petiole are called petiolate. Sometimes the petiole may be absent. When stalk of a leaf or petiole is not present, when petiole is absent, we use the word called sessile. We use the word called sessile. Petiolate means present. Petiole is present. Sessile means absent. When petiole is absent, we call it as petiole. So the stalk of a leaf is called as a petiole, which extends further as what? Main rib. Which extends further as a main rib. Called what? Midrib. Main vein called midrib. So petiole is a stalk of a leaf, and the leaf with petiole is called as what? Petiolate leaf. And without petiole it is called sessile leaf. What is leaf base? Leaf base is the part that attached to the node of the stem. From where exactly the leaf arises? This part. This is called as the node. Node is the region from where the leaf arises. From where the leaf arises. The leaf arises from the node of a stem, right? So then what is a leaf base? Leaf base is the part that attached to the node of the stem. It may be simple as in hibiscus or sheathing leaf base. You might have come across in maize, usually in grasses, they have a sheathing leaf base, like membranous structure, white membranous structure, and that is called as a sheathing base. As in maize, grass, usually you find across that sheathing base in case of monocot plants. You don't come across in dicot plants. Most of the time we come across in monocot plants. Sometimes even it gets swollen like this. This is called as pulminous. Hope you might have come across citrus. Even like pea, leguminous plants, crotalaria, we come across the swollen, pulminous, as in leguminous plants like pea and crotalaria. So leaf base is the part that attached to the node of the stem. It may be simple as in hibiscus, sheathing leaf base as in maize, like grass, monocotyl, or swollen called pulminous as in leguminous plants like pea and crotalaria. All these are the different parts. So as I said, this is the petiole and this is called as leaf margin, and this is a picture of a typical dicot leaf. How do we call it as a dicot leaf? It has what type of venation? Reticulate venation. What is venation? Arrangement of veins is called venation. What are veins? Veins carry what? Xylem and phloem. As I have already said, phloem will be below and xylem will be above. And you can see the veinlets. These are called as veinlets. And what do you call this whole surface? As the leaf blade or leaf lamina. So here you can see the stipules. Stipules are nothing but leafy like structures. Sometimes these stipules get modified into thorns. So here you can see the stipules. Stipules are small leafy like structures, and the stalk of a leaf is called petiole, which extends as midrib. Here you can see the midrib, and these are the veins, and the holes. This one is called as the leaf blade, and this is the leaf margin with the leaf tip. This whole thing is called either leaf blade or leaf blade, or it is otherwise called leaf lamina. See, there is so much to study in a leaf. Imagine the whole, the planet Earth is comprised of millions of plants. See how beautiful these plants are designed. Each and every concept what we are studying is so very important for us. But in everyday life, we come across all these things, but we neglect it, right? So it is a bound duty, particularly being biology students, it is our bound duty to learn all these very, very minute things what we observe in our everyday life, right? Then as a that is the leaf lamina or the leaf blade. Here you can see the stipules. This is called, and here you can see the thorns. As I said, stipules are nothing but leafy like structures. Thorns that is stipules get modified into thorns. So what is leaf lamina? It is a green flat expanded portion of the leaf with a midrib. So this is called the leaf lamina. This whole thing is called what? Leaf lamina, or it is otherwise called leaf blade, which consists of what? Very important, already I explained, mesophyll. Mesophyll contains what? Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, right? Like we have palisade chlorenchyma, we call it as chlorenchyma. Chlorenchyma is of two types, palisade and spongy. Palisade and spongy. Anyhow, spongy. Right. So it is an expanded portion of the leaf with a midrib, veins and veinlets. Tip of the lamina is called apex. Edge of the lamina is called margin. Then stipules. At the base of the stipule arise a pair of green appendages called stipules. Here you can see the green appendages. They are called as what? Stipules. A leaf with stipule is called as a stipulate leaf. Sometimes stipules may be present or may be absent. So when the stipules are present, stipules are present, we call such a leaf as a stipulate. Stipulate means present, stipules present. Ex-stipulate. All these terms are very important for us to understand when we deal with the families. So when we describe taking one example for a particular family, for example like Leguminaceae, like we take an example of Liliaceae. So we need to understand all these terms and terminologies. As I keep on telling that biology is very easy subject. very interesting subject to understand, but there are so many things to remember. So each and every point what we discuss in each and every chapter of your biology syllabus is very, very important. So as I said, as I keep telling you all, you have to have interest in the subject, then only you will be able to understand the concept, not just for study sake or for examination sake. If you study, definitely you are going to forget the things. So study, and as I said, biology is around us and within us. So all these things, minute things, leaf, everything we observe in our everyday life, but we don't even try to understand. If somebody asks you, being a biology student, what is this, you must be in a position to answer them, being a biology student, right? So stipules are present. When stipules are present, we call it as stipulate. When stipules are absent, we call it as ex-stipulate. And without stipules, it is called ex-stipulate. All these are the terms and terminologies which you should understand. So what is leaf lamina or leaf blade? It is a green, flat, expanded portion with a midrib, veins and veinlets. Already I explained what is a vein. Vein is one which carries xylem and phloem. The network what we see about the veins, the xylem and the phloem, is called veinlets. Tip of the lamina is called leaf apex or leaf tip also. The edge of the leaf is called leaf margin. As I said, the leaf margin may be smooth like this, or it might be serrated like this. This is called serrated, serrated leaf. Here you can see the smooth edge, smooth margin. Here you can see serrated margin, broken like this. It is not smooth, right? Then stipules, at the base of the petiole arise a pair of green appendages called stipules. A leaf with stipule is called stipulate, and a leaf without stipule is called exstipulate. Hope you have understood all the concepts about this very important concept called leaf. See, leaf we come across in our everyday life, but when we go deeper into the study of this leaf, you understand so many things, right? Hope you have understood the concepts what I have explained in today's session, and I'll be back in the coming session with some more very interesting concepts in this chapter called Morphology of Flowering Plants. Till then, goodbye and thank you.